Today's video is sponsored by 𝐀𝐒𝐒𝐈𝐂.com. 𝐀𝐒𝐒𝐈𝐂.com is one of my new favorite sites to scope out true profitability and ROI rankings before I make my next ASIC purchase. Check this out. I can simply enter my current electric rate and instantly see what ASICs are best suited for me. On top of that, let's say I want to find what ASIC miner is most profitable to stack Doge and Litecoin. Just select your algo and bam, there is the Bitmain L7. 𝐀𝐒𝐒𝐈𝐂.com has taken things to the next level. Look at this. When you select a miner, look at all this amazing information. Miner statistics and overviews, historic miner prices, daily and 30-day mining revenue, trusted vendors, and much, much more. Go check out 𝐀𝐒𝐒𝐈𝐂.com today. What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Well, I am joined by two guests today, DJ Mines and your friend Andy. What's going on, gentlemen?
Great. Not much, man.
Which way are you? I know. So today, guys, we are going to be talking about crypto and profits. And this is a subject that I have always struggled with. And it really comes down to, when do I take profits with my crypto? Starting out early, I held everything for my first year in crypto mining, and then moved into my second and third year where I've just been accumulating hardware. And finally, approaching 2024, my goal is to take profits. My goal is to invest. So I thought, who other to join me that would be best to DJ Mines and your friend Andy. So, gentlemen, who wants to go first and kind of discussing your strategy on how you decide when to take profits?
He does.
Oh, you went first. All right, Andy's up.
Let me start off on this profit discussion by saying thank you to DJ. I'm looking at my portfolio right now, and I've invested $1,850 into 𝐀𝐒𝐈𝐂, which is currently worth $38,000.
Oh, wow!
Oh my gosh! Wow. That is, as DJ says, that is big PP energy right there.
Purely because DJ's like, Andy, you gotta buy this 𝐀𝐒 thing. I'm like, all right, whatever you say, DJ. And then here we are.
Thank you, Andy.
So you went from 1,000 to 38,000.
Almost
$1,000 invested.
1,850.
Wow,
yes.
That's impressive.
It's a big multiplier. Either way you slice it, but yes.
So great segue, Andy. When do you decide to take profits on this?
So my profit taking strategy. So to rewind, like none of us do this perfectly. None of us know what we're actually doing. All we can do is look at our past mistakes, which hobbyists, I'm just like you. I've diamond handed until I was bleeding, and everyone's looking at me with the diamond hands and going, "What are you doing, man?" And I'm like, "I don't know. That's what I thought I was supposed to do." We've done that, and then we've gone, "Oh, okay. Maybe next time I actually take some profit on the way up, and I enjoy some of this stuff, whatever." So, anyways, we look back on that stuff. We try to make the best decisions we can going forward. And what that looks like for me is now I actually build out spreadsheets. I take every position that I'm in. I put how many of the coins or tokens I have, and then I start comparing each one. What else is out there that I think is a comparable company, project, whatever? What are the price points there? What are the market cap size discrepancies between them? Where do I think this crypto I'm holding can go? And then I map it out. I do columns. I say, if it's Flux, for example, my second biggest bag, let's say I think in the next bull run, it's going to hit its all-time high from the last one at the minimum. So $3.30 and some odd cents. So that might be my first column. $3 or $3.30 or whatever. My next one is, where do I think it could go from there? Do I think it could get an additional 50 to 100 million in market cap? Could it go to, could it add $1 billion in market cap? Where can it go? And what's that price point? What's reasonable? And then I just keep going down the line, 2 or 3, 5 or 6, whatever my entire price targets are. And then I allocate certain amounts of that bag to those different price targets. And I try to be reasonable, responsible, what I won't regret, but also what I'll feel a great amount of relief selling off. And then when the crypto I'm looking at hits those targets, I just follow the plan. I don't think, I don't feel, I just do. And that's the beauty of doing this type of stuff right now, thinking about it now, which is a great timing on this video. before we get into the bull run, because if you wait until the bull run and you just go with whatever you're feeling, you're going to mess it all up. I promise you. So that's my basic approach. There's a lot of philosophy behind some of that, but that's how I like to just map it out so it's black and white and clear to me.
That's really smart. I mean, thinking about like when you do your buy is when you determine your sell, which is actually really smart. It makes it less impulsive, less emotional. You know, I know DJ always talks about like take the emotion out of it entirely, which I think is great. You know, kind of putting that straight out there regarding the fact of, you know, and that's a really good one that I don't do, like that I haven't done, is like when I do a buy, recording that exactly as you're saying, and then mapping things out. I think that's really smart and something to take from this. Now, DJ, I throw it over to you. Same kind of aspect, because there's a few things I heard that I think are similar to your strategy, but I know yours are a little bit different. So kind of give us your rundown a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely I've learned a lot from Andy. Shout out to his group, ZZZ Money Club. I love it.
Sleep Money Club.
Sleep Money Club. It's great, man, over there. But
I'm glad you were both in there.
Yeah, no, I've
Link
actually learned a lot.
link down below. Link down below.
But
Use hobbyist link down below.
Yes.
but for me, it depends on how risky the play is. So like Bitcoin, you know, I don't mind holding really, really long term, and I'm only looking for like a 3x. If I got a 5x, that'd be amazing. I doubt it at this point, but that'd be cool. But something like 𝐀𝐒, 𝗟AI, like super spec, something it cost me $50 to $100 to mine, I'm shooting for the moon, right? Personally, it just depends how risky of a play it was, because I know I didn't put much into it anyways. So if I lose it, would I lose $100? I don't mind, right? I don't really care. So my 𝐀𝐒 bag isn't quite that large. I wish it was. It's about $7,000, awesome. And I mined with it for like 2 months. You know, maybe 3 at the most. So yeah, it just depends.
That's
that's awesome.
Profitability for 2 months, by the way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, your example, DJ, is a great example of like for miners, especially GPU miners in the community, on being able to mine something during a bear market, get high yields out of it, and then it absolutely it rewards you. And it's not something that occurs for everything. You could have mined 100 coins and that one like perfectly, which I think is great. But I remember when you started with 𝐀𝐒 or 𝗟AI, and you literally said it has AI in the name. I don't care about the project.
Yeah, true.
Well, and you're not wrong. Look at both of those projects. Both of those projects are up significantly for me. And I remember like you talking about it and them coming to market, and I just went out and bought $250 of each right away. It's like $250 of each type of deal. And I forget what I told you the other day. You and I were talking about, DJ. I think it was like 51 or 5,300 or something like that. So I can't complain on my return at all either. Like, and that's been awesome. I think where my struggle has been is like, as a miner, I'm always so used to heads down mining. Like I mine and I hold the bag. And then it's like, okay, when do I take those profits? And there's no, even listening to both of you, there's no magic playbook. You got, except for Andy, he makes the playbook. He writes the playbook when he buys it, which is great. And on DJ, your side too, you're always looking for these little projects to get into, which is, I think, are phenomenal, you know, kind of take that approach. So I'll throw it out there for both of you. Does your strategy change? I know, Andy, you're a miner as well. You've kind of moved a little bit away from that as much as investing, but I'll throw it to both of you. Does your investing strategy to take profits differ from your mining strategy? So I'll start with you, Andy. I know you've mined some great successes in the past.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think one thing DJ said, a lot of what he said was great, but I think one thing in particular is something that I didn't mention that I think is so important that you take to heart here, and that is the risk level of the different thing you're getting into. Now, I disagree on this 3x business with Bitcoin. I think a 10x is very possible, if not a 20x from where we are.
I hope so.
Is that next bull run though?
No.
Okay,
so if you're talking about next bull run, yeah, maybe. But I think a 5 to maybe, if everything goes really crazy, a 10x could happen next bull run. But 5x next bull run, very possible. Gotta open up those institutional taps, my friends.
We need it.
So, yeah, mining is very different. It depends. You know, my mining rigs are ancient at this point. 1660 Ti machines that I bought in 2019. They've many times paid off for themselves. You know, so stuff I mine with that. You know, I don't really, care if I'm recouping cost or whatever. Those are kind of moon bags. And I look at mining with a paid off rig as just dollar cost averaging into a crypto at a discounted rate, because once the machines are paid off, the only cost you have is your electricity cost every month. So you're effectively buying however much crypto you're mining with that electricity cost, which if you're mining something profitable, that means there's a margin there, which I call the discount in that case. So if you're making a 10 to 30% profit on that amount after electricity, well, that's 10 to 30% discount. So it's a great way to accumulate over time. But my favorite way to use the mining stuff is for the highly speculative stuff, like 𝐀𝐒. I did that before it hit exchanges. Flux is one of my best ones. 𝐸𝐴𝑥, take your pick. I like to mine them before exchanges, and then once they hit exchanges, I'm not as interested anymore, because then it hits what to mine, and then everyone is checking it out, and then it's just a race to which one's the most profitable.
You're right.
But yeah, it's very different between when you have your rigs paid off, when they haven't been paid off yet, and if you're just directly investing money, how you're going to approach that. And it also depends on that risk factor, like DJ was saying.
DJ, what about you? Does investing, or let's say taking profits, does it differ from a rig mining versus investments?
Yeah, I think so to some extent. Yeah, I like to spec mine more with my rigs, I think, as well. Because it's more fun. It's something to do, right? So crypto is not really my main source of investing, to be honest with you. It's always been stocks, but I like crypto as well. I like maybe 5%. I know. But crypto is like probably 5-10% of my portfolio in general. So I like to have fun with it. You know what I mean? And I don't live off crypto. I don't really care. I mean, I would like to make money. Who wouldn't? But I don't have to, sell the crypto for the power or anything. So it's very enjoyable. It's kind of like a game. It's, wow, look at this one going up. And so I'll treat it differently, I think, for sure.
And that's something else that's different about you two hobbyists, that, I think all three of us are in a different situation than some who, we pay for these electricity costs and stuff out of pocket. We don't need, if we don't want to sell what we're mining to cover the costs. Like my Bitcoin mining, for example, I just paid those thousands of dollars of hosting fees out of pocket because I'm fortunate enough that I can do that. But I realize that not everybody is capable of that. But if you're in a position, and I would strongly suggest people not put themselves in a position where they can't do that. Don't stretch yourself too thin. But if you can do that, that is, I think, the better way to do it, because then you hodl that stuff, and hopefully for not too long, but you hodl it for longer than just selling it that month, because we know what this past year's been like. Selling every month this past year, oof, that's rough stuff. You don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, it kind of definitely defeats the purpose of like the bear market mining. If you're selling, and that's always a challenge I tell people. It's like, if you're selling for that week or for that month just to get by on expenses, it's like, oh, you may have a better avenue strategy of just powering off and buying that, because I think the opportunity is just as DJ, you're literally going to be an example for quite some time now with 𝐀𝐒, where it's like mining during the bear market, playing that spec play, and then it becoming fruitful later. Can you imagine if you were selling that 𝐀𝐒 like every week to cover costs, how much less you would have?
It'd be very sad.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. We'll do one more question. Oh, go ahead. What do you got?
All right. I have a lot of experience in the stock world, so I also bring these memories, not that they carry over perfectly to the crypto world. I owned Facebook when it first came out, when it first IPO'd, and I doubled my money because nobody knew Facebook was going to be like one of the largest tech companies. I doubled my money.
Thought I
was a genius. I'm like, oh my God, it's an amazing feeling. Now I'm like, oh my God, it would have been worth millions. I only put like 10,000 into it, right? So then I think about that. Then AMD, I owned AMD for 1 year. It was $4, right? Held it for a whole year. It did nothing. It did literally nothing. I think I sold it for $4. Now look at it, $120. I always think about these selling too early, And for me, it's like, I've learned over the years, is there a better opportunity? If their answer is yes, I will consider selling at that point if I can find something that's better. But a lot of the times there isn't a better opportunity. So I'm kind of like, why would I sell this to go buy what?
Yep. No, I think it's a good point. I think where I struggle with, and I absolutely don't mind being transparent, is the fact of like, you're always thinking it could go higher. It could go higher. It could go higher. And I think taking some of the notes that you guys have recommended today regarding the fact of like picking that number when you buy it or when you start mining it, and then liquidating it then, or liquidating some of it then when it hits that mark, you're not going to regret it. And I think that's, Andy, like I think you've spoke to many times on your channel, is like, take those profits, don't regret it, and move on. And if you keep some of that moon bag, as you call it, I think that makes a ton of sense. The last thing I'll ask both of you here, we'll start with DJ, and maybe we already know the answer, we'll see, is what has been your greatest success story for taking profits within crypto? Is it mine? Is it invested? And what was it?
Oh, it's definitely buying the coins, specifically to a coin.
Like, was it 𝐀𝐻 in your situation of mining it, or no? Is there another one?
I would say 𝐀𝐻 as far as percentage. Definitely not. I've made a lot more money just buying like XRP. I know, boo, but like, hey, you know what? It was a lot of money, but like other things like that. But yeah, as far as percentage gain, I would definitely say so far it's 𝐀𝐻. I haven't sold it, so who knows? It can go to zero. I could lose it all.
Okay, awesome. And Andy, I know you've told me many times about your pirate chain success story. Is that your biggest that you think that comes to mind?
I mean, Flux is probably my biggest.
Okay.
All in on Flux between what I've invested and what I spent on electricity to mine it, which I mostly mined it. I have invested between those two things about, I'll tell you exactly, $8,953 into Flux between electricity and dollars into it. And what I have left of my bag from the last bull run is worth $269,000 today.
Wow. Good for you. So I would call that a success story.
Yeah. And I I did take profits last bull run, and that was great. And now I've earned basically everything I sold back because my nodes are still operating and stuff. But yeah, Pirate Chain is another one. That was me buying a Bitmain Z9 Mini off of Craigslist for $180 or something like that. Yeah, with the little guys. And I mined Pirate Chain for like a year and a half during the bear market, and I spent, I think, like
that was 2 bear markets ago, right?
Yes, not this most recent one, the one before that. And I think I spent like $1,200 on electricity running that thing for that year and a half. And at peak, that Pirate Chain bag was worth about $150K.
Oh wow!
And
now
I didn't take profits at the top. I took profits on the way back down a bit, but I did take significant profits on that one. So you never know. I've got 100 other ones that are just QT, like shell of its former self wallet sitting on a virtual machine, and that's how I treat this. And I think it sounds like you're both the same way with my mining and with my investing. I call myself the poor man's venture capitalist. I toss a few hundred or a few thousand or a few hashes here and there at these different things, and I just collect a bunch of different bags, and I hope for some unicorns. So far, those unicorns have happened, and they have erased all the losses from the ones that flunked out of unicorn school. But that you have to like really kind of, you can't just be entire life set on this one single bag. And if if that works out and you're super lucky, congratulations, you're a billionaire, I guess. But for most people, we don't hit the lottery with those single things like that. So I try to play a bunch of different things and just hope that some of them will stick if I can put a little bit of analysis and thing into the picking process. And so far, so good.
Yeah, there's definitely something I've learned in the second half of this year is like, well, actually during this bear market that I learned was the fact of diversifying. And that wasn't necessarily just for hardware. I mean, my hardware has diversified immensely. And that was just like GPU versus ASIC mining and things like that. Now I've gotten into your DPIN with other hardware as well. My 5G, setup that I have more recently, and things like Dymo and HiveMapper, just getting into these different things just to have different avenues, I think are smart. And on top of that, one of my goals is going into next year. I spoke with Andy about it the other day, was the fact of just investing more. The last half of this year, I've gotten into it, but not a ton. But now I'm like, man, I need to just pick these projects, like $250 here, $500 there, and just nab that up to give me more opportunity. I mean, the more of these bags that I'm in, the more opportunity I have to take profits, which is awesome.
And it's inspiring me. You posted in Sleep Money Club the other day in the crypto trading channel, like a couple things you're in, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna buy those as well because those look good. So I think it helps to see, like, especially with Sleep Money Club, it helps to see, it's very transparent for those of you guys interested, and it helps to see like what other people are thinking about investing in. And so when you see like someone mention something and you're like, I was already thinking about that, if someone else is in that same boat, I could kind of, get off that teeter-totter and just jump in and make that. It just makes it a little bit easier versus just kind of, kind of jumping out there. So awesome. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys joining me today. Talking profits in crypto makes me feel a little bit better. I learned a little bit. Hopefully the audience did as well. Guys, I'll leave links to their channels directly down below. Go check them out.
they can speak significantly more intelligently to taking profits. All right, guys, we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Peace.